Alright, you lovely tubers. Oh, look at this, a Thursday. So I've done a bit of videoing this morning on the camera, and the mic didn't work again. I'd put it in such a place you couldn't even hear it. It's just really, I tell you what, I hate microphones on bikes. They're such a pain in the backside to do. Anyway, I thought I'd do something different. I haven't done this before, so I think we'll go for a little ride home, go in a different way, and I think I'll stop off at a dealership I've not been to. I know it's been there a while, but I've never been into it. And a lot of yous will love it. But we've all got our favourite bikes, haven't we? So we've all got, what is your favourite bike? What is your favourite manufacturer? I know, in fairness, like for me, I think the last few years has been Honda for me. And prior to that, really Yamaha. So them have been my favourite ones. Come on, love. Them have been my favourite manufacturers. So we'll go in and we'll have a nosy, and we'll see as well when we go in how well they treat you when you go in, especially when you turn in on a Honda. As you can tell, it's not going to be a Honda dealership. So while we're going up here, we'll go down a slightly different way. We'll do a bit of what I do all the time, commuting in traffic. And what can we waffle on about? I'll tell you what we're going to waffle on about on the way up there. We're going to waffle on about the e-clutch. Really appreciate it. I've had loads and loads of comments on it. Loads of people, that for it. People that are against it. People say clutch for me. People saying it's an automatic. It's not. And this is where I say to people, you get a chance. If you get a chance to ride these bikes, ride them, because you'll form your own opinion. That's the truth of it. It's your own opinion. It's my opinion may not be the same as the actual engineer who's made it. They will know inside out what that is and what they're doing, and how it works inside out. We know basically how it works and what it does, and basically, for me, when you really look at it, it's like a quick shifter that you can leave in gear when you stood still. That's what it is. I think that's the be all and end all. That is what it is. It's like my DCT now. My DCT is in gear. It's in first gear. Okay, and I can, if I want, stick it into neutral. And on the quick shift, you could do the same. You could come up to there, stick it into neutral, and off you go. And then the same, put it in gear. The difference with the DCT now, when I start opening up the throttle, the DCT will choose its gears for me, unless I turn it into manual mode. Then if I turn it into manual mode, then I would say it's very much the same as the e-clutch. That's what it is. So I would look at the e-clutch as the same as a DCT, but with one set of clutch plates in manual mode. I think that's the easiest way to look at it. But as in terms of a piece of technology, it's fabulous. In terms of not just arthritis, like people who are looking at it now who haven't ridden because they can't grip, they can't do the same as what they could do 5 years ago or a year ago. you know, they don't have to use a clutch. When you're young or when you're able-bodied and you don't have them issues, it's easy to say, well, don't need it. But when that issue comes along and it hits you, then it becomes, you know, a different scenario. The e-clutch as well, I mean, the cost of it at the moment with what Honda have done, it's absolutely a no-brainer. It's like, honestly, like I said in the video when I was out on it, I would seriously consider having the NC with the e-clutch, because I could change gear quite easily. You know, I could stop at traffic lights, and that's generally, like the e-clutch, what I use a DCT for, because I'm stop-start like this, and it's just so much easier just accelerating away, not having to worry about gear changing. Now, you would have to worry about gear changing on the e-clutch, because you have to manually go up the gears or down the gears. DCT you don't. There was another side on it, I think it was the Men and Motors that were saying, or Visor Down, one of the two of them, that were saying the e-clutch is quicker off the mark than the DCT. It's not. You know, we're talking minimal, so we're talking from here to that other set of traffic lights there. It's very strange actually, because the DCT starts moving the bike forward once it hits about just under 2,000 revs. That's when the bike engages and it goes off, and off it goes. The e-clutch was going about 1,500 revs. It's going about 500,000 revs per 5.5 thousand revs per minute quicker, but it still doesn't have the same low down grunt that this has. Now, that could be for a couple of causes, and probably one of them being this is a parallel twin, and parallel twins on the bottom end are generally more torquey than an inline four, and that's probably what that is. So it'd be interesting, like I said, it'd be nice to see that e-clutch on, you know, certainly on the Hornet, on the Transalp, on them sort of bikes, and see how it dealt with that. And it'd be interesting if Honda do that. The other side of it, which I read into a bit more, is because I don't know how the actual how the e-clutch will, how the clutch plates will wear with the e-clutch in comparison to, you know, a normal clutch. Now, what I was reading on one of the articles was saying it assists it, so it will help the clutch last longer. So if you're a poor rider, it'll help you even more. If you're a good rider, you won't see any difference. And there's no maintenance on it, so they reckon there's very little maintenance. It may be a bit more of a grief when it comes to actually, when your clutch plates go, on putting it back on, and you may have to calibrate it a little bit when you put it back on. But until that's done, until someone has it done, don't know. See, even the mighty NC can't get through here now. Well, I could go down there. But it's a mighty, fantastic piece of technology that they put in. And I know it's a few people have said there's other it's equivalent to it has been out a while. I've forgot the name of it now. Begins with R. But it honestly, it's one of them. You don't even have to ride with it. You know, you could turn the e-clutch physically off and leave it off, and then if you fell over and broke your fingers, turn it back on, and then ride it without the clutch. Really impressed with it. You know, the technology like that, it's like some respects, sometimes I wonder with some people where they go, I wouldn't have it. It's like you go back to the 80s and 90s when injection really started coming on bikes, and diehards were carburettor, not having injection. Carburettor's better, and you can do a lot of modifications to carburettor, but injection is still better. The truth of it, it's still better. It atomizes the actual the fuel. It makes it more efficient. It's just a better technology. So that's my thought really on that e-clutch. And there's no ifs or buts. I'd have one. There's no ifs or buts at all. I wouldn't think twice about it. And you'd have the best of both worlds, because you could go, right, I'm going to use my clutch today and use my gear stick, or no, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to leave it in quick shift mode, because that's what it is. That's the other side I was going to say to you. A quick shift is about 300 quid, and that's without a blipper, because that bike, because it's a cable, and I didn't put it across properly, if you're on a cable bike, cable throttle, you have a quick shift and you have a blipper to go down the box, so you'd be paying, Anyway, we're getting close to where I want to go, and people who know this area will probably know where I'm going. And I've never been in here. Wow, that's beastly, isn't it? Bit of a blowing exhaust, do you reckon? But this is where the DCT, for me, not had to move my foot, not had to do anything. It's just a case of just gently ride. Now, it's in Sale, so it's a dealership in Sale. Actually, is it further? Was it there? No, it's there. So, can we get in? Is this? I hope this is the way you even go into. Oh yes, it is. So guess where we're going, people? I've never been here before. This used to be up on the A50, so it's Ducati. Look at them bad boys. All you fast riders now, these are quick bikes. You want a quick bike? This is where you come. Your multi-stradas, all the others. And they are very, very pretty bikes. Very expensive to run. But without doubt, the Italian heritage in these are just fabulous, aren't they? But they haven't got this, have they? They haven't got front people. None of them have got that. So let's have a walk outside at the showroom outside. What they've got out here. So these are demo bikes. They are. I must be cheeky and ask, can I have a ride on one? Now I've ridden the 1200 Multistrada, and it's a lovely bike. Never ridden any of the. Well, I had a Monster 600 many years ago, the old one, which me and it didn't get on. But you're talking 1990s, so they've changed a bit. I mean, they are absolutely stunning. That back wheel, look at that back wheel. It looks too big for the bike. The quality of build on them are just fabulous. But that's what I say with Honda. I mean, the quality of build on Honda is just, for me, just as good. But the looks, absolutely stunning. And I know, the thing is, if I bought something like that, I know I'd be in jail. Or I would not have a licence. Something like this, I'd probably be have metal pins all across my legs and be in plaster, because I'll have fell off somewhere. Something like that I'd proper enjoy. And that, to me, a nice easy rider there. But what a bunch of bikes, people. So what we're going to do, we're going to go in. We'll see if they'll let us film first of all. Amazing looking things, aren't they? KTM. Oh, that's not a Ducati, is it? Wow. Right, we'll go in. We'll come back to you in a second. Yeah, summer now, isn't it? They're all ready.
The warm weather helps, isn't it?
Oh yeah, well that's it. I'm on the DCT, the Honda DCT.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I love
Which
it.
one?
The 750 NC. I love it. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely love it.
You're on the NTS?
The NC 750X.
Oh,
yeah.
the XTX,
Yeah, so it's the yeah. Thank you. What's your name, by the way?
I'm Rob.
Hi, Rob. I'm Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Pleased to meet you.
And you, buddy. And you.
Yeah, I've got a little YouTube channel. That
All right.
catching up on stuff that you never get in your life. But yeah, I do.
It's not bad, Nick, is it?
She's nearly new.
That'd be wide up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Never ridden them. I had a 600, the old 600 Monster,
Oh, yeah.
when I was young. But some of these are just.
Then again, we've got a full fleet, well, virtually a full fleet of demos. Just waiting on a Monster, I think, to complete it. So we've got
Could I get a ride on the odd ones then?
Yeah.
Would you?
Bring your driving licence in, we just do a driving licence check. Costs a tenner to cover the insurance.
I'd probably need stabilisers with that, wouldn't I? Fabulous.
We've got the multi-straders, 3 multi-straders on loan.
Right.
Panigale V4, Panigale V2, Diablo V4, Street Fighter V4, Street
The problem
Fighter
is,
V2.
once you ride them, you want to buy them, don't you?
That's why we do it. That's why we do it.
Absolutely.
To get a,
How come they went from Highley? Because Highley was fabulous.
just a different venue, I think.
For I suppose size, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, I suppose
Like I
this
said.
now, this venue really is getting a bit crampacked. You could do with something a bit bigger.
They are fabulous, though.
I'll leave you to have a look round with it.
Thank you.
Yourself to the coffee machine.
Okay.
Just pull a cup under and press what you want, latte, whatever.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the help as well. And that's it. That's how good it is. Yeah, Derek from Solo Moto UK. I think that's similar to yours, isn't it? What a choice of bikes. So that's very nice. I can get a ride on one. But you know, you're into bigger bucks, but you know, you get what you pay for. That's the old saying. But them V4s, they do interest me then. And that Multistrada as a V4, it just seems, my friends, that seems a lot lower than this. £3,600. Wow. What a lovely store as well. And I know Carl Fogarty now is something to do with them as well, which I used to love watching him race. Absolutely superb rider. I'd love to have seen Carl Fogarty and Rossi on the same tarmac together. I remember a long time ago reading an article where Foggy said he'd beat Rossi. I said, harder than that. You know, I watched Rossi from the 125, even though they were a different type of racing, but fabulous. What a lovely showroom. What, you know, look at what they've got in here. What a bunch of bikes, people. These would be real hang-on ones. Hold on for dear life. Oh, I do like that. I do like that. That is a pretty bike. got a great choice of clothing as well, and leathers, which I'd advise you to wear on these bikes. You know, you know, if the bike's going down the road, you need to be well leathered up when you're going down it yourself. Absolutely fabulous. And that is a nice colour, mate. Teal green. And I go like that. Is there a seat on that, or is it just a bit of felt over the top of it? And that is it's like you see the videos with them going off road with these jumping up and down rocks. I'd be terrified. Wow. Absolutely fabulous, people. So I thought I'd have a walk into Ducati. Never been in here before. You know, really nice staff straight away. And you know, that's what you want. It's like I always say to people, you come into these places and no matter what salesman is, you never know what someone comes in with, whether they're going to buy or whether they're not. And the most important thing to these, now you do know it, like anything that you've got, you do get messes. And you know, and I try to be as honest, well I am as honest with someone who'll go in and go, I'll ride it but I'm not buying it. And some of these are they're just well out of my price league. It's, you know, justifying that much money in a bike, and for me, for what I do on it, is different than what these are. These are definitely your weekend blasts or your track bikes. Real power on these. So it may be interesting. I may actually come out and see if I can get a go on 2 or 3 of them. The Panigale, which I've never ridden. I did like that big Multistrada. I've ridden the old Multistrada. I can't see them being much different, only probably a bit more power and a bit more, a few more techie bits on them. And anyone that watches me knows I'm not really all that bothered about techie bits. You know, they're nice to have. It's an add-on, isn't it? But it's not really. Right, and at that, let's get back on the Mighty NC and see what we think there. So that's Ducati Sale for anyone that wants to know. So it's it's classed as the Manchester branch. Fabulous place. Lovely people to look after you. Right, let's get ready for going again on the Mighty NC. People, let's leave Ducati now and do what we enjoy the most. Getting out on our bike and giving it a ride, thank you. So I think what we'll do, we'll just, I think we'll go back through. Which way should we go back actually? Such a nice day, isn't it, for riding in? So have a ride into there. They've got some demo bikes, like I said, all you need is your driving licence. They've got quite a few demo bikes that you can use. So if you're certainly a red-blooded rider, that is, you know, you're going to have fun. And it's like with some of them, you just be you're gonna hang on. You're really gonna hang on to them. But it's like I say, that Panigale, I've never ridden one of them. I think the last fast Ducati was a 996 I rode many years ago. It weren't mine, a friend of mine. He was about a year old, and that was a beast. It was just an absolute beast. And that's in the days when I had my R1. I think I had that. And I weren't a lover of the R1, to be quite honest with you. And the 996 was even even more of an handful. Even though the R1 was like, in terms of power, in terms of what people wanted, they are totally different bikes. They are totally different things to ride, and that's the thing. It's like a car. You get different bikes. They may have the same brake horsepower, you know, and the labels on them, the names on them, they do ride differently. All of them do ride differently. Right, is still there. That used to be Sun Systems on the left hand side, Sun Microsystems, for people who remembered it, big computer company. There it is there. What it is now. So we'll dive on the Carrington Spur Road. Just to see what the noise is like. And you know, this is the side of the NC I love. You know, you'll see me having a play at times, but just the fact it's just so relaxing to ride. It's so easy to ride. And this DCT gearbox, you know, it's like I really do say, it is really that E-clutch threw a spanner into the works. Even though for me at the moment, just at this moment in time, is the DCT is still winning for me, just about. I think more than anything, it's like the DCT, it'll on this bike, on the 750, it'll lose the top end grunt. You know, it's like anything, you can put it down, you can pick up your pace a little bit. You're not going to do like your sports bikes. But it's just not an intimidating bike to ride. It's a bike you can have a play in the bends on it. You know, you feel as though you're in control of it all the time. And this is the thing, it's like, even on, I'm going to do a video on my nephew's even asked me on his MT-09. I've been on a couple of times, and that thing will rip your arms off. That bike will rip your arms off. It will take no prisoners. If you lose your concentration and you're playing around the bends and that, you're gone. There's, you know, the NC is more forgiving. That's the only way I can really explain it. You know, it does, that power on it, the way it delivers on that 3-cylinder is just immense. Now again, I had the speed triple, and I didn't rate the speed triple as much as, even though it run at a very short time and it was the first speed triple I had, the 1050, I didn't rate it as much as the MT-09. You know, if I was going out to buy them both, I'd be buying the MT-09. But, you know, putting my money down on the table, there's not that much difference between an MT-09 and a speed triple and this, and I'd still put my money on this, people. I'm sorry, that's what I would do, but, you know, you have this, a lot of people say it's an age thing when you get older, it's DCTs for older people. I can tell you now, there's a lot of young people I've gone out and rid, and they can't keep up with me. So it's a load of nonsense about your age. it's the way you are riding. You're either a good rider or a bad rider, or you're just not skilled in riding as yet. You haven't built up that ability to know how to read the road, how to ride the road, the bike you're on. The more you ride the bike that you're on, the more confident you become with it. It's like that. If I go and do a test ride on that Panigale, that'll probably, for the first hour on that bike, will scare the daylights out of you. And if it's only an hour's test ride, you're never really going to get start to get a real good feeling. With Honda Yields of Manchester are fabulous because they let me take a bike for a good few hours. I get at least 5 to 6 hours on a bike in some cases, and even within that less than a day's period that you have on it, you still don't get to know everything about that bike. You still don't really get to know everything you need to know. You get an idea of what it's like. I mean, like I say, I praise the NC, but I'm not someone who's just commenting on it, who's going, right, well, because I've seen 100 videos saying that's what the NC does and this is no good at that. My comments are facts because I ride the bike and I ride it every day, and this is my third one, so it's not, and I get it is my experience on it. Someone else may get on it and not have that experience, and have it a year and have a different experience. I was just been commenting with another someone commented on my bike chain on my NC, and it's quite interesting. Kevin, he commented on, I've changed my bike chain on this at 10,000 miles, under 10,000 miles, and like he said, he's only ever adjusted his twice in 10,000 miles and he's still got loads left on it. So it just shows we all, like anything, I suppose, we all deal with things in our own way, and we all ride our bikes in different ways. A lot of the time I don't ride this bike like sensibly. There's a lot of times I've worked this bike. If you go to a lot of people, they'll just ride on the road and to and from work, and that's it. This has been in deep mud, been on dirty tracks, but it's never really done a good tour yet. My last two did, and that's what I'm saying about the previous NCs. People say this model of NC is much better than the older one. It's not. Honestly, when you get to ride them, there's very, very little in between them. And I suppose you get that with any type of bike. It's like that Multistrada. That one I rode with my friends, which is now 12 years old. You're getting a new one. I think you probably find it probably doesn't ride much different when you really get down to thinking about it and how it rides to what the new one does. The only difference being you've got your different gadgets to actually stick it in different modes and make it feel more torquey. Anti-lean angles in your corners. I mean, I don't want that on a bike. Let me know in your comments. I don't want an anti-lean angle on my bike. I don't want something that tells me how far I should lean over on my bike. Because I'm not being funny, I think 80% of people can't even get the knee down on a bike properly. They'll never do that. They may go round a corner fairly fast, but they won't ever go round like your Foggies or your Rosses. You'll never go round like that. Them guys are doing it day in, day out on high speed tracks. That's why they're good at it. And that's it, people go, they're great at it. Yeah, of course they're great at it. It's like if you get on anything and you keep on riding at that speed, at a high speed, you'll become familiar with it. If you want to learn how to do that without injuring yourself, just get on one of the games. you know, you just won't get that adrenaline rush that you get on a bike. So I hope you enjoyed me waffle anyway, because it is, like I say, I've never been in there. And the last time I went into Ducati was, like I say, they were up on High Lee on the A50. So anyone that knows them from that time knows how long ago that was. I bet it was 20 years. And I've not been in a Ducati dealer since. Not that I dislike Ducati, because I don't. I think they're without doubt one of the prettiest bikes on the planet. And like anything, there's people out there that go, they're one of the most reliable for them. But they're a high performance racing bike, aren't they, really? And there's a lot of quality goes into the gear, so that's why you pay for it. Well, it is absolutely lovely to ride in sunshine again, proper sunshine like this. And the bank holiday's coming up. I'm hoping this Saturday the rain stays away, because, well, even if it doesn't, I'll be going out anyway. But me and Back Brake Tom, and with a bit of luck, Daniel, who's bought my slug, we're going to meet up at J&S in Northwich for about 10 o'clock, quarter to 10. Maybe have a bit of breakfast there, we'll see. And then we're going to have a ride into Wales. And I think we'll just find somewhere completely new and go and get lost in the fabulous valleys of Wales and have a good day out there and really enjoy it. And with a bit of luck, the rain gods will stay away, and we'll have another fabulous day, which I always do with Tom. And we've both gone out with new chains on. He's just put a new chain on his as well, the same one. And I'll be honest, it's like, it is psychology, you know. It's like I was saying, when you put these chains on, you do feel as though they're better. And to be honest, this does feel better. I mean, I always kept my chain to the right tension, but this does feel a little bit smoother. Now, it's probably the gold links, isn't it? The gold links making it quieter. Let me know. Imagine if they were real ones. Maybe I'll be pushing this bike everywhere. This would be going in to be weighed in. And this is now going through Partington. Massive developments in here over the years. It used to be well known in the earlier days for the travellers. There used to be a travelling site here. There used to be two major pubs around here that were always fighting in them. And it was a really run down area. Now it's you know, new houses, new blood. It's a nice little place, and it's actually, and it is a nice little place when you start going around the back of the estates. Some lovely green fields out the back there. It is really nice. And you're 2 minutes away from Dunham Massey, which, you know, for bikes down the lanes in Dunham Massey is fabulous. Absolutely some fabulous riding down there. And I'll tell you what, people, I'm warm. I've got my bloody I've got my Teletubby suit on, and I've got my other jacket underneath that. I am absolutely baking. And this is 30 down here, people. Take your time, because there is, have we passed the school actually? I think the school's a bit further up here. So if you're on a bike, just take your time down here, because they don't care here, they just run out on you. And there we go, Broad Oak School. And there's a conference and event centre, which is very, very odd shaped building. Very odd. Won awards, I don't know why. Right, so now we get a little bit out into the nice riding areas. Some nice sweeping bends up here. Always a busy piece of road up here. But look at that for a view, eh? Wow. You wouldn't think Manchester, not much green, would you? Eh? Absolutely stunning. You're always going to get loads of cyclists down here as well. It's renowned for it. A bit like the A50. The A50's got loads of them down there. And the lanes are tight, so overtaking is really, really... when they're clear, they're fabulous roads. When they're not, they're not. So just let me know in the comments, if I go back to Ducati and ask for a test ride, which one do you advise I ride? Which one would you ride if you got an opportunity? And like I said, the truth of it is you end up bankrupt very quickly with these bikes. And again, which is your favourite manufacturer? It's like I say, for me, my favourite is without doubt is it's Honda. You know, I just think Honda are just well priced, reliable, and it's like, I'm not being funny, it's like the service, it's just like Ducati there. You go in there and you feel welcomed straight away. As soon as you walk in that shop, it was like, how are you, mate? What do you need? You know, you go in, and this is a side you have as well. And I'm not being funny. You go in some shops now, and you go and say, well, could I get a test ride? Well, don't know. And I'm not going to mention one of them, but it's a Yamaha dealer, and it's like, oh, you needed to put a deposit down. Well, no, you don't. At the end of the day, if that's the way you're treating your customers, you want to put a deposit down on a bike, there's no saying people are going to buy it. It's like me when I chose my first NC. I had a choice about 3 other bikes, and what you're just going to do, go in there and say, right, all right, I've got to put the deposit down, and that's the bike I'm buying, so I'm not going to ride any others. You're not. And I do understand it. You know, it's hard work for dealers. Dealers have to, you know, these bikes, every time they're coming in and going back out, they have to be rechecked. It's not just a case here, you get off and it's your turn now. People don't realise the dealers have a duty of care to you. You know, it's like me going in there going, all right, I'll have a go on that Panigale, and they book it. The old days when I was young in the 80s, 90s, you went into a dealership and you just went, can I ride that bike? Yeah, all right, pull it out. They just pulled it out and off you went, ride on it, and then they pushed it back in. That's what they did in them days. Health and safety and change, and you know, to be fair, it's better. It's much better that that's happened, but you know, you've got to be a bit fair sometimes with the dealers, but again, the dealers have to do the same with you. Because I was saying it to one of the Yules, the biggest asset Yules Motors has Yule's not just Honda, Yule's itself, is us, the customer. Because without us, you're not going to sell bikes. Without Yule's, we're not going to buy bikes. So, the way I look at it, it's a 50-50 respect. You know, it's like I'll go in and I'll say, I'd love to ride that, and if it's available, and they've not got another customer that is coming in to ride it, I'll say I'll wait. You know, when it's available, if you've got a free time that I can have it, I'll take it when it's free. And you know, it's nice that they do that. It's nice that they help me out, because the be all and end all is their choice. It is their bike. Well, I've got to say, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Absolutely loving it. Never get bored of riding the Mighty NC, people. And I'll be dead honest with you. You know, the stars are aligning for having a second new bike in there. But then I won't be buying any more for 2 years. So we'll have to make do with them. And have a guess what it's going to be. So I'm putting the magic figures together on it. But the NC's not going. I was half and half thinking, should I just go down to one bike? And after riding that E-clutch, I do believe that there's got to be space for another one. So I'm gonna tell you anyway, it is gonna be the CB 650F, 650R, sorry, the CB 650R, the naked version of it. I love the CBR 650R, but I couldn't do all day in it. I had a real good ride in it. I've got arthritis in my back, so in part in the low and part in the top. So even though I can go down and have a bit of fun for a bit, after, you know, I was out on that for a good 4 hours. When I got back, I was in the bath and soaking. Where I can be out on this all day. I literally can be out on this for 300, 400 miles on this bike and get in and just sit down and have a bottle of beer. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Have a bottle of beer and chill out. And then get in the bath at the end of the night. But I won't be aching as much. And that's, that's the side with age. This is Lim Village for people as well. This is absolutely stunning little place. And you've got Lim Dam. Some lovely little pubs here. Lovely quaint little village. I used to have a Norman cruiser canal boat many years ago, and I used to stop here, and when we walk down and go into the pubs, so then go and sleep it off on the cruiser. And that was, again, doing that is another thing that's absolutely fabulous. Now, which way should we go? We'll do a left here, I think. And if you turn right there, you just you can cut out all the Lim Village by going straight to the end there, and you'll end up at the bridge, the other side of the bridge. And if you turn left at the end here, that is Lim Dam on the right hand side. And if you carry on up the way I was going there, you'd come out where them cars are coming up here on the right hand side. So we're doing a left here now. We're going to go. I could actually go straight on into Warrington town itself, but I think we'll just have a nice little ride down these little lanes. This is a lovely little road. Takes us up to the motorway. And it's like them sleepy policemen. I bloody hate them, I do. You know, they put them there to slow everything down, but it doesn't slow things down, because half these cars just go over them anyway. But if you're on a bike, and especially, and that's the thing, especially if you're on one of them sports bikes, the low ones, or something with a quite stiff suspension at the front, you're in for a shock if you don't know it's there. Again, roads have never been down now there on the right. Must try that one day. And remember, I haven't got hay fever, but now when it starts getting like this in the summer, the other side with hay fever, you know, a few friends who get that, and when they go out on the bike it kills them. They have to make sure they're adjusted to it. This road is definitely a bit on the rough side there, whatever they've done to it. That's the other side. You see these, half of these contractors that come and do these, they don't fill them in properly. And then us poor motorcyclists have to deal with them. Yeah, so I've quite enjoyed a nice easy ride today, not in a rush. Sometimes it's just lovely to have a nice steady ride home, enjoy your scenery, chat to yourself in your helmet and hope someone will listen to you. Call into a really good dealership. I'm really impressed with Ducati. You know, really nice as well. Get yourself a brew as soon as you get in. And you know, you're looking at people, if you own a business, them machines are not cheap to keep. You know, them machines will be leased, and you know, free drinks, they're not cheap. Sorry for that. Oh, so and this is the other thing about the DCT, people. You know, that's the other thing that people say, that they're no good at slow speeds. They're tremendous. They're fantastic little things. This don't look good. What have we got here? Is it a broken down? Yeah. That's not helping anyone except me, because I can just go round now, can't I? Yeah, so the DCT, in terms of managing your speed, and especially low speed, is a fabulous bike. And there we go. Nice easy ride. We've all been here before. Normally I'm on the outside lane filtering through by here, but what we'll do, we'll go right up to the top. Doesn't really matter to me, I can get in anywhere. In fact, we'll get in there. Just nip in there. So my lovely DCT, yeah, it's staying with me. It really is, people. It really still is my favourite bike. and I'm hoping as well, I've asked Joe to get a ride on the NT 1100, which I know the engine is going to be the same as the Africa Twin, so it's going to, I know that's going to be fabulous. But for me, what it's going to be like as, I think it's 238 kilograms. So you think about it, it's a big old bike, but this DCT is 224. There's only 14 kilograms different, and that's a lot bigger bike. So I'm looking forward to go on that and see what that's like. And if Joe, you're watching, you let me have a decent run on it, I'd love to get it up to the lakes and have a good ride up to the lakes on it, so you really do get a feel for them. But for me as a practical rider, being dead honest, and I suppose it does come, age does come into it, strength does come into it, and space does come into it. I've found now that I really want bikes that I can manoeuvre about quite easy, you know, that are not difficult to manoeuvre on the garage. It's like this NC. This is 224 kilograms, but when you're moving it around the garage, it feels like 125, 130 kilograms. It's so easy to move around the garage, this bike. Oh, I just love it in the bed. Do you know something? Hondas in Benz are just fabulous. What's that van? Go on. And this is a side as well, people, about the DCT I love. There you are. You're not fighting with your clutch, you're not fighting with your gears. This bike will just automatically do it for you. It is still my favourite mode of gearbox for me. You know, the E-clutch is just, you know, it's 2% behind it. That's what it is. It's like I say, that E-clutch on a bike that is a bit more spirited, that you want a bit, I mean, that E-clutch on something like an MT-09, oh dearie me. You know, put on a triple. It'd be interesting when they actually bring that out, what they put it on. I'm really looking forward to the next 12 months, what Honda do with that. I really hope, I mean, in respect to say with the DCT, they seem to have just like cupboarded, put the DCT in a cupboard, this 750, but they don't, because you get it, the 2012 DCT, the NC 700 DCT, the first one that come out, fabulous bike, ahead of its time. I think 2015, 3 years on, then they upgraded it to the 750. 2020, they brought this one in, 3 to 5 years. So it may be the case, we don't know yet, whether this beauty will get another upgrade again, or whether, you know, do they need to do it? Because they will, without doubt. They'll work the magic on the DCT itself, they'll make that better every time. They may give it a bit more power, they may make it a bit smoother, they'll do something with it. But it's like I'm repeating myself, and I know it sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but I've had the 2015 DCT, I've had the 2019 DCT of this model, and they are not as quick off the mark as this is. I've said this before, they're not as quick off the mark as this is, but they're the same at the top end, and they're the same when you're riding it. You really don't, even though they change the gear changes, the way the gears behave on it, you didn't really tell the difference with them. I don't think, going back, if I went back on that older version again, I don't think you'd really notice that difference when you're riding it. It's like I say, for me, I did like the dash on the older NC better. Just that little bit of colour in it, and that bit more of a character to it. I did like the longer suspension on it. It had longer 41mm forks on it. I did like that. And but this behaves much nicer on road, really. Certainly when you're going into the bends like this now, when you go around, this one handles a little bit better in that sort of area than the old one did. But like I say, there's really not much between them. If it was a case of I had to get rid of all my bikes and I only had 3 or 4 grand to buy it, go and buy another bike, I'd go, this was out of my league, I'd just go and buy the older NC and have as much fun on it. So I hope you've enjoyed my little waffle home from work and calling to Ducati. I've proper enjoyed it. There's nothing better than just, it's just good for your soul, isn't it, going into a bike showroom and looking at the bikes. And it's a weird thing, I've done it all my life. And that's where really I say to myself, I'm a very fortunate person, because I've been able to actually buy new and old bikes. And I've had some scrappers in my time. I've had times in my life when I've really been looking for them 2p pieces, but I've always managed some way or other to have a bike and to have the ability to ride on 2 wheels. And so, I thank myself that I'm lucky for that. And I like people. Really do appreciate you following my channel. Really do appreciate all of your comments. Good and bad. You've got to say what you believe. I'd much prefer honesty than falseness, to be honest. I'd rather someone be honest than false. If you don't believe what I believe, that's your choice. That's your choice in what you believe. Anyway, at that, Birchwood Biker, thanks for watching. Ride safe, be kind to others, and get out on your bike. The weather's coming for riding. That's what it's here for. Take care. See you on the next one. Ta-ra.